I studied how Scandinavians actually live their days. 7 habits that changed everything. Scandinavian countries are consistently ranked among the happiest places in the world. And almost none of their daily habits look like what self-improvement content tells you to do. No 5 a.m. wake-ups, no color-coded planners, no hustle. So I started looking at how people there actually structure an ordinary Tuesday. Not their goals, their actual days. It's something quieter. Lagom. Not too much, not too little, just enough. Scandinavian life isn't built around big goals or 5-year plans. It's built around rhythm. Small things, repeated the same way, every day, until they're not really decisions anymore. They're just how the day moves. 7 habits. Let's start with the one most of us have completely lost. Habit 1. The candle-lit slow morning. Most of us wake up, and the first thing we see is a screen. That's not really a willpower problem. It's a replacement problem. Nobody tells you what to do instead of reaching for your phone, so the phone wins by default. In Scandinavian homes, especially during the darker months, the first light most people see isn't a screen, it's a candle or a small warm lamp. It's lit before anything else happens. Or checking messages, before getting out of bed even. This isn't about avoiding the phone. It's about giving your eyes and your brain something else to land on first. A small flame is calming in a way a screen just isn't. Once that's the first thing you see, reaching for the phone stops being automatic. A 10-second ritual that resets the tone of the entire morning. Habit 2. Fika. The second habit is one word, Fika. It's often described as a coffee break, but it's more than that. In most workplaces and homes, Fika is a fixed pause, usually mid-morning, where everything stops and people sit down with coffee or tea and something small to eat. Not at a desk, not while scrolling, just sitting. What happens if people skip it? Nothing dramatic, which is exactly the problem. It's easy to skip, so most people elsewhere do. But Fika isn't optional, the way a break is optional. It's scheduled, it's social, and because it happens at the same time every day, it becomes a rhythm the rest of the day organizes itself around. Instead of a break you take if you happen to have time. Less self-care, more structural. Habit 3. Outdoor time, regardless of weather. There's a saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. And it's not just a saying. Kids go outside in the rain. Adults walk to work in the snow. Outdoor time isn't something that happens if the weather's nice. Why does that matter so much? Because if outdoor time depends on the weather, you'll get it maybe a third of the year. But if it's just what you do, regardless, it becomes a daily rhythm your body can rely on. Light exposure, movement, fresh air. Every single day, no negotiation. The trick isn't motivation. It's removing the decision entirely. The weather stops being a variable. Habit 4. Single-tasking meals. 4th habit. Simple to describe, hard for most people to actually do. Meals are eaten without screens. No phone, no laptop, often not even a book. It sounds almost boring, but here's what's interesting. When eating is the only thing happening, meals naturally become longer, slower. And because nothing's competing for attention, You actually register that you've eaten. Your brain gets the signal. It's not really about the food. It's about giving one activity your full, undivided attention, which most of us almost never do anymore. Meals are just the easiest place to start because everyone eats every day. A built-in opportunity, 3 times a day, to practice doing one thing. Habit 5. The enough home. 5th habit. And it sounds like it's about decluttering, but not as an event. Most people declutter as a project. A weekend, a purge, donate 3 bags, feel great for a week, and then things slowly pile back up. In Scandinavian homes, the idea of lagom, enough, not too much, gets applied to belongings as an ongoing rhythm. Every season, every time something new comes in, something old typically goes out. Small and constant, not big and occasional. It's never really done, and that's what makes it sustainable. A home that's always roughly tidy is much easier to maintain than a home that's perfect once a year and chaotic the other 50 weeks. Habit 6. The early, fixed dinner. 6th habit. Dinner happens at roughly the same time every day, often earlier than people in many other countries are used to. Why does the timing matter so much? Because dinner acts like an anchor for the rest of the evening. If dinner is whenever, everything after it, winding down, reading, sleep, also becomes whenever. But if dinner is fixed, everything downstream has a starting point. One fixed point, and the evening organizes itself around it, without anyone having to plan it consciously. Habit 7. The screen dark wind down. And the last one connects back to the candle from the morning. In the evening, lighting shifts. Fewer overhead lights, more lamps, warmer tones. Alongside that, screens get put away earlier, replaced with something analog. Reading, knitting, a puzzle, even just sitting with a cup of tea and talking. Doesn't that feel restrictive? Only if you're trying to resist the phone. But if the lighting has already changed and there's something else in your hands, there's nothing to resist. The environment does the work that willpower usually fails at. Same idea as the morning candle, just at the other end of the day. The whole day is really bookended by the same principle. Replace, don't resist. So if you wanted to start, where would you begin? Pick one, just one. Maybe it's the candle in the morning, or fixing your dinner time. Don't try to build the whole day at once. That's the planning trap we started with. None of these are big. That's the point. They're not motivation. They're rhythm, and rhythm is what survives on the days motivation doesn't show up. Next time, we'll look at how a different culture structures the exact same 24 hours and what they do completely differently.